that's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
I'm laughing now, are we? I'll tell you what, I'm half asleep. That's what you want to hear. Why is this not working here? Bosh. I don't know how to get something off my screen. I'm going to click that, but it might do that. It did do that. I've got to open that up again. Don't worry. No dramas. Hello, everyone. So this is a weird one. Probably won't be what you think it's going to be, because slander is quite a big deal. But I called it. I'm going to wait for a few people to turn up. It will be an interesting stream, because there's actually so many different aspects of what's going on that, you know, at the moment, the nexus of Russel Brand is like an object that speaks so many different things about where we are as a culture, where we are as a people, where we are with technology, where we are with ways of being. You know, it's there's a lot going on, but I had a few videos prompted, and I want them back up. So I want that one. Hang on, stop. It wouldn't close here. Not that that matters anything to you. I'll get some hellos in a minute. Sorry, I haven't streamed for like 10 days. It feels like a century, doesn't it? I have been working myself to the bone, trying to keep a roof over my head at the moment. That isn't grifting. It is. But like today, listen to this. Today I woke up about 11 o'clock. That's early, really early for me. And I thought, yeah, get up. Just, you know, get on it. You've got things to do. And I thought, you know what? I cannot get out of bed. I'm too tired. I thought, I'll go back to sleep. Just grab another hour. I didn't set an alarm or anything. 5:30 I woke up. 5:30 in the afternoon, early evening. And I was like, whoa. You know, that my body wouldn't do. As I've told you before, you know, I only sleep 4 or 5 hours anyway, and that's been fine. But when I got to 50, literally on my birthday, I need more sleep. Hang on, I just want to get these couple of things that are relevant to what we're going to be talking about. Lovely to see you though, but I am working so much. Also, while the oi polloi are in, which is always good. I know the shorts aren't. A lot of you don't like them, but you know, obviously you don't have to watch them. But it's an algorithmic necessity. I've got another channel that I make videos for work, and here's the thing with this channel. What do I talk about? What's the niche of this channel? I don't like it when I'm halfway down the screen like that. Hi. So this channel doesn't really have a niche, does it? Well, I talk about all sorts of things. So to make shorts for that, what am I going to do? Make a 15 seconds video about postmodernism. Make a 15 second video about David Foster Wallace. You know, I can try, but there'll be jank. So I'm just testing it. I'm testing it. At the moment, I'm going for this sort of alpha male kind of parody. It's sort of working. Now, you might not think so, but some of them had like 3,000 views. Not a lot, but they stay there, and as other people find it. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. But on one of my work channels, nearly 200 people in here. This is interesting. It's really hot at the moment, this topic, isn't it? But on my other channel, a business channel, I had 3,000 subscribers that took over a year to get. Started making shorts for it, and because it's in a niche, I knew what shorts to make. I had 3,000 subscribers 10 days ago. It's now got 12,000. Made 9,000 subscribers. 3 times what I originally had in 10 days, just off of the back of shorts. One of those shorts has had 2 million views. When I go to the analytics, it says views this month, 3.1 million. And then under that, it says usual views. No, it says 3.1 million views. 3.1 million more than usual. So TikTok is taking so many eyes off of YouTube that YouTube is making it so that you need to make shorts. I'm going to make a video about this because there's all sorts of AI short generators, people just sitting back. There's this bloke who will tell you who's making $500,000 every 3 months. And he's made videos where he tells you exactly how he does it, shows you all his accounts. It's like a window of opportunity. If you just want to make money and you can be bothered to do that, the window will close though, because advertisers will start thinking, hang on, I don't know about this faceless stuff. You know, they we'll see. But that's another, I'm going to make a whole video about that because there's some interesting stuff to be talked about there. I'm just gibbering a little bit, waiting for a few more people to turn up. Let's get some hellos into the regulars and the people in the chat because they're the regulars. By the way, I am starving. This is a grift. I am a grifter. I might as well get all that out anyway. Entropy up the top, preferred payment method, because you're not giving dollars to Susan, but I'll take anything. You can fucking throw the money at me if you want. And super chats down the bottom. That would be appreciated. What else have I got to say? Oh, I just want, there's nearly enough people here. Oh, you know what? That video that I made with the Iconoclast and Hugh, when Hugh turned up, that's my second most successful live stream. And it was also probably my most depressing. I think a lot of people didn't like it because Hugh, Barney McGrew, Hugh was just saying that it's all over. I was saying it's all over. And Dan was saying, I think it's over. Talking about the West as we knew it. So, yeah. I'll give you a couple more minutes and then we'll get into this. Let's say some hellos. Hello, Pizzle. Good to see you. JP's on the firm. Hello, Johnny. Nice to see you, mate. Hello, Ben. Nice one. Hello, Al. Hope you're doing all right. Hello, Otto. Lovely. Mr. Joe. Never average, but always Joe. Good to see you. Lovely. They're all having a long chat, weren't they? Look, they're in here. Hello, Miss Dangered. And then there's a classic. It never goes away. Exactly, Winstone. Actually, I've got something funny to tell you. You just reminded me about Brand. I had a meeting. Look, this isn't going to just be me gibbering this video. We will get onto the subject. I just want a few people to turn up because I've got to say some things at the beginning to just outline the rest of the video. Most people will leave after I've said them, so you know. But I had a meeting yesterday with an American marketing company. And they're big guns, you know. They work for top brands. They work for brands you all know. They're a big deal, this company. And the difference in culture between sort of California-based tech sort of companies. It was me and two of them, right? And so they were going through all these. And I find I'm not very good at this side of the business. You know, I'm a glorified salesman. You know, I was a drug dealer. And now I'm a dealer of other things on the internet, essentially. And the tech stuff, I find a little bit of a struggle, but you delegate. That's what I've done since the beginning. And 20 years later, we're still there. So I'm talking to him, and I said, hang on a minute. I said, can you just explain that again? And I said, because I weren't listening. Sorry, I said, my mind went. And he might be watching this actually because he asked me about my YouTube channel. Hello. It's nothing I wouldn't say to them though, because I'll just me. When I'm me, I'm me. If I'm paying someone for a service, I'm not going to, oh, I'm a different person. Okay, sorry, sir. I'll say, can you explain that again? And he said, let's assume the woman's name was Joanne. He was like, hey, Joanne, do you mind if I take this space and use this opportunity to explain to Chris, you know, asking if he could explain it. Like, that's just not something we do, is it? Can you imagine? You just say, I'll tell him, here, just get on with it. And there was lots of that sort of stuff. At some point, he actually said it was a safe space. I don't know if he was joking, but I was like, okay, I imagine a Zoom call when I'm sitting in my own house would be a safe space. Oh, did you hear that? I'll turn it up. Someone made a donation. Let me know if you heard it in the comments because that would be wonderful. Nice one, Al. A lady for the bean spilling. Just don't cut your finger on the lid. No, exactly. That's what my introductory comment's going to be about, and why when we hit 280, we'll get into the video. Thank you, Al. Struggling a bit, to be honest, mate. Q3 is difficult. You got to prepare for Christmas and Black Friday, so you got to put loads of money out, but there ain't a lot coming in because it's summer in most of America and most of Europe, and people ain't in on their internet buying stuff. They're out, so not a lot coming in and a lot going out, and it starts going like this. Oh dear, what am I going to do? I'm starving. And then people start saying, you owe us $4,000. Have you paid your corporation tax? You owe us PAYE. And you're like, yeah, but I haven't got the money for it, you know. But, you know, 20 years. So we hope. Hello, Henry. Good to see you. Hello, Mrs. Me in it. How lovely. Dinosaur Trees is in it. It's a duck is in. Loads of regulars. Lovely. Hello, Pags. Nice to see thee. It's a duck is on the firm. All right, there you go. I said when we get to 280, we were on 310. Hello, Skin and Tonic. How are you, son? You didn't hear the Vartage. Let me see if I can turn it up on entropy. Volume. No, volume's up full. Hang on. Let me know if you can hear that. I'll do it twice. My half-drunk missus who's asleep won't appreciate that, but it's not up to her, is it? I am not. I can't even say that. Some of the things that I was... in this meeting with these, trust me, they're like big marketing. You can't get bigger in this field, and I had to have this meeting with them. It's shocking. I'm so out of my depth with them, not in terms of how to sell things, but in terms of the sort of the mores of sort of dealing with American. Tell me you heard that. That nearly blew me head off. Right, we've got loads of numbers. Here we go. Let's get into this. You can see much more from the outside. Oh, it's cryptic, but I like it. Nice one, Joe. Manimoo says it was like a mouse coughing. Well, I've turned it up now. Hello, Andrew. How are you? Thank you, Joe, for that. Hello, Chicken Minute. Right, I'll say hellos as we go, and if I'm on a bit of a roll, hello, Patch. Good to see you. Paul didn't hear a thing. Well, I have turned it up. I think so, John. If you know how to sort that out, not that. If you know how to sort... Hello, John, by the way. Right, so exactly, Winston. So here we are. Nice to see you. Well, we're going to talk about Joe Brand. Right. So first things first. I've made about 2,500 live streams. A lot of them were deleted because when YouTube done their bait and switch and suddenly said you can't talk about all these things, to save my channel, I deleted a lot of videos. So I can't tell you exactly, but I know you must have heard that. Good Lord, that give me the shivers. Thank you, very kind. I will check entropy regularly as well, because Mr. MF has just dropped a 5 spot in there. He says, hello, Chris. Here's a fin to help my favourite show get started. Nice one, Mr. MF. It is starting now. Nice to see so many people as well. So, where was I? I've got to get this right. I can't remember what I was talking about, but no worries. I was too busy thinking about VARTs and the like. You can't hear it, but no worries. I can. So when you see me go, yeah. First of all, I want you to have a look at Sean Atwood's channel. Now, some of you will probably know him. Sean Atwood was made famous for getting nicked in America after setting up an ecstasy empire. Fair play to the bloke. He'd done 6 years, I think, in federal prison in America. Not nice. And he come out and he sorted himself out, and he's got a YouTube channel that's slowly dying. You know, he's got like, what's he got? He's nearly 800,000 subs, but some of his videos get like 30,000 views. That's a channel on its way out. It's much like trigonometry. I just watch them slowly going down. I can't wait for the day when Kissing kicks that dog in the arse and says, go and turn the light off. And he goes and does it. Now, so yeah, I've made thousands of live streams. I've never had to think about what I'm saying. I've said the next line a million times. This is Jacques Lacan or Foucault, I can never remember. What I write takes me by surprise and teaches me what I think. Now that's all about writing, but with speaking, it's much the same. And you'll understand this when you're in conversation. You don't. So someone says to you, "Hey, what do you make? Did you see the football the weekend? Did you see Arsenal at the Champions League? 4-0, lovely." You don't go, "Right, did I see Arsenal at the weekend?" I mean, maybe you would if it was like a deeply philosophical or emotional question. But if it's something like, "Did you see the football the weekend?" You don't go, "Right, weekend football. Okay, I saw the Arsenal match. I saw West Ham." But you're thinking it, and then you turn to them and go, "I saw the Arsenal. I saw West Ham." And you don't think before you speak. You just speak. And because my legal team, well, you're looking at it. You're looking at my legal team. And I'm guessing multi-millionaire Russel Brand's legal team or legal potentials are going to be a bit bigger than mine. So I can't just riff off because I've got loads in here about this. For people who don't know, for people who are here new, I'm guessing about half of the people watching this aren't regulars to this show or even subscribers. They're just on the brand trip. But I called this. Can regulars in the chat put a 1 in the chat? I never named names, but I think probably the first time about 5 years ago, I said that a very famous comedian, stroke actor, stroke presenter is going to get called out. 1 in the chat if you remember me saying this ever. And I said, you all know who I'm talking about, not suggesting that they knew the name, but what I meant was, you know the person. He's that famous. And I just knew it. I knew it because of things I've been told. That's the first thing. So I know without even looking at the chat, but I am that would be riddled with 1s. Now, before we move on, I just want to show you Sean Atwood because this is interesting. I'm just going to share my screen. This is a 1s. Who are you? I don't recognise the name Chicken Minute, but I've been checking out some of your comments. They're amazing. It's Joe Pasquale. Amazing. Right. There you go. Well, apparently I did say it was Russell. I don't remember saying that. Maybe it was during my Valium phase when I also fell asleep midstream. You can't win them all, can you? Right. Let's have a quick look at older Sean Atwood's channel. I just want to show you his YouTube channel, right? So you should be able to see it. Right. If we go to videos, now Dispatches broke on Sunday. Atwood's channel is basically crime. That little girl who went missing in Portugal, celebrities throwing poo at each other. But look at this, right? So this is videos. Let's just have a count. So this is since Sunday. Was it Sunday or Saturday? It must have been Saturday. Russel Brand 1, 2. Oh, there's a story about John Venables there, the child killer in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. A little bit of Mara Ian Brady there. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. These ain't short videos, by the way. Some of these are really long. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Jesus, how much can you say? 37, 38, 39. Like 39 videos in like 5 days. You would think that was quite a lot, wouldn't you? Let's have a look at the live streams. Oh, God. I mean, are these the same videos? These ain't the same videos because these are like hour long. The other ones weren't hour long. So there's another, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, look, it's just, oh, good Lord. Right, okay. I just wanted to show you that because it was interesting. Okay, first thing, everything I'm going to tell you, everything, unless I stipulate otherwise, is hearsay. It's stuff people have told me. It's not stuff I've seen happen. It's not stuff that I could prove in a court of law. It's things I've been told by people who are involved, and their word is as good as Russell's. You know, if he says no and they say yes, I can't say who's right there. That's a fact. This is hearsay. It's stuff I've been told. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Also, I don't support in any way, obviously, people who know me and know this channel, I don't support trial by social media at all. I think it's ridiculous that his channel's been demonetized. It's like, what? But why? Why? Well, because some people have said something about him. I mean, if you support that, and I know no one here does, well, I'm never 100%. I'd guess no one here would support, you know, so what? Could you know, it's just crazy. What? Channel 4 have got enough weight to get some people in the shadows with their voice changes to say, I didn't like this much. And then you lose your income. It's all right for Brand. I'm sure he's got a few quid tucked away, but some people, that's their livelihoods. Hey, join YouTube. It can be a job. Yeah, make it an income, support your family, get a mortgage, and then have a TV program say some bad things about you. Nah, yeah, we're not monetizing you anymore. I just want to show you a quick clip from Rumble. Rumble have proved themselves quite cool in this respect, because there was a letter written to them. Hopefully I won't get yeeted because this is someone else's content. We won't show a lot of it, but I'll show enough of it for you to get the idea. If I do get yeeted, YouTube just put me on the naughty step for 3 minutes and then I come back. Here we go.
The video streaming platform Rumble defended Russel Brand in the wake of sexual assault allegations made last week against him. The CEO of the platform, Chris Pavlovski, pushed back on the UK Parliament's request to suspend Brand from receiving advertising revenue on its platform, posting on X, quote, "We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak."
Right, that's all you really needed to see. I mean, terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. What? Why the government involved? The government? How does an independent network make a program, make allegations that haven't you know, the man's innocent until proven guilty? Surely that's the law of the land. And yet the government are chipping in. Nah, you can't give him money. I think that's just astonishing. And YouTube folded, obviously. I don't know the timeline around this. Maybe someone in the chat knows, but you know, just give him some. Just no, you can't give him money. I mean, they haven't yeeted his channel, but they've demonetized it. It's weird. Right, so that takes me to the next part of the story, where a lot of people have been saying the angle is that dispatches, and there will be, I will tell you some things that I think maybe will interest you that you won't have heard anywhere else. Perhaps. I mean, it's like a wall of the Brand incident out there at the moment on the internet and telly. So I've heard. I'm not going to be one of these people who says, oh, I haven't got a television, because I have, and that is far more powerful propaganda tool than a television. Trust me. I think that the government just getting involved and just saying no, you should not be giving him money, that he's not been proven of having done anything. It's just absurd. So I just wanted to make that clear, and I think I made it quite unclear really, but I think people should have I think this sort of stuff should be played out in court. This is like Burn the Witch. This is like someone in town. This is like someone in the village saying, oh, you know, old One-Eyed Jane up the top of the hill there. Well, I heard she eats frogs. And someone else goes, probably some kind of magic. And then the next day, the old village are up there with their pitchforks, burn the witch, burn the witch. You know, when is this medieval? Is this where we are now? A bit of gossip. You know, if they had anything solid, they'd have gone to court. They'd have gone to the police. You know, blah blah blah. Now, people said to me, yeah, they're silencing him because he's been calling out Big Pharma. He's moved to the right. He's moved to the dissident right. You know, I think you can say that. I think, you know, it's a bit milquetoast. I can't imagine many people here regularly watch Russell's channel. You know, it's stuff that the likes of us were talking about 6 years ago and getting channels yeeted, getting reputations blown up, being in, you know, I've had this myself, haven't I? I've had the Times say I was grooming teenage Nazis or something. And it's just absurd. And so I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think it's a terrible thing. I keep losing my train of thought because I'm having to be really careful. There's so much I want to tell you, but just remember it's hearsay. So the people have been saying that the timing, you know, 6 or 7 years ago when Brand was a Corbynite. Remember, he was a Corbynite. He also went through his, you know, he wrote a book, Revolution, and no one attacked him then, even though a lot of these allegations, and they are only allegations, went well before that. Like it appears that they've gone for him when he's calling out things like the Koof and things like, you know, other globalist ideas, New World Order, the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, the usual suspects, you know. And I think that does make sense. I mean, don't forget that he was working at Channel 4 while some of this stuff was going on. You know, don't mention it. Wait till he's gone to the other side. So I sort of get that. But I don't think it stands up to even the most superficial scrutiny. And here's why. Russel Brand has pretty much been cancelled already. You know his YouTube channel, 6 million subs, but he doesn't get 6 million views every video. Hello, you 6 million whatever. Ooh, fine cup of tea. And I don't know. He doesn't get, you know, that's just largely symbolic. But has he been on telly? Has he made any series over the last 6 months, sort of 5 years? Has he been in any Hollywood films over the last 5 years? Because he used to do that. When you're in Hollywood, what was it? That Sarah Lucas movie? He done the remake of that Dudley Moore pisshead film. Sorry, it's not the best description. How do you end up leaving Hollywood? You've got to go some. Look at the likes of Weinstein. Weinstein? You know, you've got to go some to get chucked out of Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? But it's Arthur, that's it. Arthur. Grego said Alfie. Amazing. Yeah, there is that as well. But, you know, this is pretty much just his YouTube channel. And from someone who dominated the world stage for a while, from someone who could sort of do no wrong, you know, I want a 1 in the chat for this. I've watched Jeremy Paxman for years. I might see if I can get a bit of that up, actually. Let's see if we can get a bit of that up. Apologises for not having all this prepared, but like I said, I've been working my arse off. I imagine these videos are worn out. So the servers are like, Yeah, we found a bit. Now, I'll just find a bit halfway through because I'm sure Right. I've watched Paxman for years. I used to watch Paxman when I first started watching Spitting Image when I was like 12. I didn't even know Douglas Hurd was, but because he had an ice cream on his head, I thought it was funny. Spitting Image was funny in the 80s because you were a kid and you still sort of got it. It was weird. I learned about 80s politics watching Spitting Image. Michael Heseltine coming in with the M90 and all the bullets around him and all the cam cream on. Amazing. Paxman cuts no slack. Jeremy Paxman cuts no one any slack. He's like bosh, bosh, no, bosh, bosh, bosh. And then I hear Russel Brand's going on Paxman. And I remember watching that with a girlfriend just sitting there going, what the fuck is going on here? This is like Rasputin kind of stuff. It was like Brand in body language, in behavioral analysis. There's a thing called the romancer. Narcissists are natural romancers. You know, I've got a bit of it in me. You know, we've all got a little bit of all these things they call mental illnesses. That's why they're not mental illnesses. They're just different levels of behavior. But when I watched Brand and Paxman was staring at him like he was in love with him. I love you, Russell. And he let Brand just say what he wanted. And even when Paxman called him out on things, Russell would then suddenly just do one of his weird sort of, oh, perchance a cup of tea, oh, propensity for verbosity. And Paxman would be like, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Let's have a watch for a bit. Now, I haven't seen this since it was on about, when was this? 2013, when Russell was at the crest of that wave, you know. And I think if you haven't seen this, I haven't seen this for years, but I'm convinced it will be the same now. And I'm risking my reputation on that. Well. He kind of hypnotizes Paxman. And I think, again, I'm not up for social media, trial by social media, but when a couple of those alleged victims in the dispatches thing said that his eyes went funny. Now, look, I mean, and we'll come back to some of the other weird shit they said, especially cutting to his stand-up routines, because I've suffered that as well. I thought that was very weird because, yes, your pupils will dilate, and if you've got dark eyes anyway and your pupils dilate, people sometimes think dilate means get smaller, like weird stoners usually. Oh man, if you got proper red eye, they're well dilated. No, it means get bigger, you idiot, you're stoned again. Stop smoking weed, read a book. But if you've got dark eyes anyway and you're in a pleasure situation, they're going to dilate, so your eyes will go black. But to try and spin that, I thought this is piss in the wind. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't do any of these things. And I'm not saying that he did do any of them. We'll get into a bit more detail around that sort of stuff a bit later. But he's got dark eyes, and when his pupils dilate, they're going to be very black. But I mean, if you're reaching that far on Channel 4, you ain't got a lot. You know, this is like Rasputin. But, and it's a big but, when you watch him work someone like Paxman, like an expert. So again, this is going to have to be just a random bit. Hopefully it will prove my point. If it doesn't, I'll just stop it and it'll be a bit embarrassing. But here we go. Let's chance it. Because I remember I'd never seen anything like it. Let me know you can hear it, please, because otherwise it would just be rolling in silence.
Right.
So they don't get
and how would they be chosen?
Jeremy, don't ask me to sit here in an interview with you in a bloody hotel room and devise a global utopian system. I'm merely pointing out that
You're calling for revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm calling for change. I'm calling for genuine alternatives.
There are many people who would agree with you.
Good.
The current system is not engaging with all sorts of problems. Yes. And they feel apathetic, really apathetic.
Yes.
But if they were to take you seriously and not to vote.
Yeah, they shouldn't vote. They should. That's one thing they should do. Don't bother voting, because then when it reaches, there's a point. So these little valves, these sort of like little cozy little valves of recycling and Prius and like, turn up somewhere. It stops us reaching the pit point where we think, oh, this is enough now. Stop voting. Stop pretending. Wake up. Be in reality now. Time to be in reality now. Why vote? We know it's not going to make any difference. We know that already. So I have more impact at West Ham United, cheering them on. And they lost the city. Unless
I mean, look at Paxman's body language there. It's absurd. He's like all bound up. He's got his hand on his. Oh, I don't want to upset you, Russell. I don't want to go against you. What are you fucking talking about? The bloke is calling for a revolution, and at the time it was a communist revolution. He said socialist, but Marx used socialist and communist interchangeably. That's just a blag. That's what Marx and Engels knew that from the beginning. Oh no, it's socialism, not communism. I heard, who was it recently said socialism is communism without all the bad bits. If you take all the bad bits out of communism, there's nothing left. It's bullshit. And Paxman's just lets him get away with it. Can you imagine if that was another politician sitting there without all this, without the Rasputin, and he was saying, no, England needs a revolution, people need to wake up. Paxman would just tear them to pieces, but he's all there, all caught up, and it's like, oh, I really want to take her home tonight. How am I going to, it looks like she doesn't like me. It's ridiculous. Dr. Dazzler, Dr. Dazzler. Where did you get that name from? Like a paedophile generator? You talk shit. Well, it's not obligatory. Go on, fuck off. I'll tell you what. You don't need to fuck off. I'll yeet you anyway. Mods. See you later, Dr. Dazzler. Go and dazzle elsewhere. It's bizarre. That was a bizarre interview. Right, let's get into the meat of this then. So I've got a weird history of Russel Brand because we've got similar accents. He grew up just over the water from me, and I was a comedian for 10 years, and I was a heroin addict. And so that's a bit tricky. And because I started my comedy career a few years after he'd got going, when I was getting reviewed, it would be like, the first person you think of is Russel Brand. I mean, a lot of reviews said, though, I think Dangerfield, in truth, Dangerfield's got the edge, though. Not the wedge, though. Might have had the edge in that empty room above a boozer on a Thursday night at the Edinburgh Fringe, but, it didn't really count for much. But it was a natural, weird thing. And then it gets weirder because I go to a rehab centre when I'm 35. It was about I forget, 15th, 20th. I've been to so many rehabs in my 20s. When I'm 35, I go to a rehab centre. When I walk in, now, I was puking all over the place. I was yellow. They actually walked me back out. took me away because there was people in there bringing their kids in who needed rehab. And you don't want to see me weighing 60 kilo going, "Ugh!" But there's a big photo of Russel Brand on the wall. And I'm thinking, whoa, wow. Why? What is it? Why? Turned out the rehab centre was a charity. And Russell was a patron for that charity. He gave money to it. He supported it. Without him, I don't know what kind of percentages, but, and this leads on to the bit where it starts getting a bit icky legally, but I was told, so again, this is hearsay. I've got no proof for this, but this is just what I was told. I was told that because Russell was a patron of that treatment centre, he had a bit of leverage on it. He could pick up the phone to the boss of that place and say, I've got someone I'm bringing to rehab. I've got a girl who's going to come to your rehab this week. And the place didn't really like it because when you go to a rehab centre, you usually have to have some kind of pre-rehab sort of interview procedure, make sure you're ready. There's things like make sure you've got somewhere to go after. If you get some homeless person and just say, yeah, you can go to rehab. Or they get clean, they hang around with people. Oh, that's all good. Yeah, they're lovely. Start your new life. You've done a step one. You've got your little red chip for 90 days or whatever it is. And now it's time to leave rehab. And they walk out and they're homeless. They haven't got a job, no qualifications, can't read. So there's no point taking people like that. So there's procedures that need to be gone through. But I was told by various people that Russell, because of this because he was a patron, would tell people in the London Narcotics Anonymous scene, of which I was in. I was the secretary of the Big Thursday meeting on Frith Street for about a year. That's what they'd do. They'd take people up there. And some people who told me, and this is from the horse's mouth, girls told me that part of that I'll get you into rehab might have involved a couple of days in an hotel before you get to rehab. You know, there's no such thing as a free lunch, but they might have been lying. You know, drug addicts are prone to a bit of lies. So there's that. I was also told by a girl I was in rehab with that Russell had sex with her in rehab when he wasn't he was years clean. Now, I could go on and tell you loads more things like this. I will actually, but keep your ears open because there's a denouement to this little bumpy bit of the story. I was told by people who he talks about in his book, and you people know the sort of people I used to knock about with in London, in Soho, the Primrose Hill crowd and all that he outright lied about them. I know someone very well who he outright lied about in his books because it doesn't matter to him that he's lying, you know, he just doesn't care. But does that make him the character they've said he is? No. Have I done things with women sexually that other people might think are a bit dodge? Yes. Have half the blokes in this chat had sexual encounters that may be considered in the new politically correct arena not particularly nice? Yeah, without a doubt. Have women also? Yes. I had some bird, she was a stripper, come round my house, and while we were having sex, she worked at the strip club opposite my house. And when she'd come out for a snout, I'd look at her out my window, you know, a bit of charm. And when she finally come around my house and we were having sex, she started going, hit me. This isn't the one that I remember the girl who got me to strangle her and she fainted. You know, she asked me to do that. What are you meant to do? Sorry, love, I don't think that's appropriate. What, midway through sex? So I'd done what she said. Now, she could tell someone. I mean, I've told that story on here. He strangled me and I fainted. But when she come round, she went, oh, I fucking love it. And, you know, that could be on dispatches. But the stripper I'm talking about, because the other one was another one, she worked at a clip joint up I can't remember it. I shouldn't actually say where she worked. But this one came round my house, and while we were at it, she said, hit me. And I was like, nah, I ain't up for all that now. And she just went smack. I was like, well, steady on. And I'm holding her hands down. So now I'm holding a girl's hands down while I'm having sex with her. And then she starts spitting at me. Like, just literally hacking it up in my face. I'm trying to get away now, and she's scratching me. She's got a big old talon. She's scratching my back. I'm having a fight with her. I'm fighting this tiny little half-Thai, half-English girl on my bed. Now, if I get taken down the old Bill's shop, I've got her skin under my nails. I mean, she has me as well, but, you know, we know how it works in those situations. She's probably going to have bruises on her wrist where I was holding her down to stop her hitting me. How does this get processed properly? In a court of law? Not on television, not on social media. And I say that for both sides of the story. I don't think Russell should be clear of all this because social media said so. I've watched videos and read the comments. We love you, Russell. We trust you, Russell. You know, it's all bullshit. They're getting at you because you're speaking truth to power. Is he really though? I mean, sort of milquetoast truth to milquetoast power. Doesn't really go to the places where you can't go because, well, we know why. That's why I stopped going there. But at the same time, it shouldn't be used to make him guilty. That's the important thing. I don't, you know, if anyone, if it, you know, I've heard this. You got to remember, I was on the stand-up scene for 10 years. So I've got the stand-up scene for 10 years. I've got people, very good friends who worked with Russell, very good friends who had business dealings with him, you know, regularly, not just like one-off here and there. And people have told me things that made my toes curl. And you got to go some to make my toes curl. You know, I've told you stories that made my toes curl. But that doesn't make you guilty of anything, unless having sex is a crime now. Sex crime, crime. Sorry, a bit of the Eurythmics to break the ice. Also in that dispatches, they had one of those witnesses. Oh, sorry, hang on, I've just jumped over a bit. I've had more than, excuse me, I'm going to silence it while I just have a little burp. I am only human. This isn't AI. I've had several people tell me that NDAs have been signed, non-disclosure agreements, and money has been handed out. I don't know if that's true because I haven't seen any evidence. But I've had different people tell me at different times. And when I say, but I've had different people tell me, they could all be lying. And I don't think that says anything about Russell because I don't know if it's true. It's an allegation. It's hearsay. And so the more stuff that comes out, this is much like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So it's still funny. You know, if people want to take responsibility and take him to court with evidence, that's an option. If people don't want to do that, and again, it's well known in the comedy crew, woof. It's well known in the comedy crowd. That ain't the word I'm looking for. It's well known in the comedy scene that there are people who have alleged there's been violence, sexual violence, who haven't reported it because they just don't want the hassle. If you've had sexual violence against you by one of the most famous people and one of the most loved people on the planet, is that going to help you out taking that to court? Or is it going to possibly make your life a living nightmare? Again, though, just because that's known on the comedy scene, one person could have said that to someone and they went, "Are you sure?" They went, "Yeah, everyone knows." And then someone says to someone else, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, everyone knows that." But then you realize that people don't put him on at their shows. People won't perform in if he's performing in venues. People do keep away from him. But I had that. Kate Smurthwaite wouldn't go on a panel show with me. There was a panel show at the Edinburgh Fringe. I was invited to go on it because I was a comic. I turn up, Smurthwaite, no. She said he's too misogynist. What's too misogynist? Where do you draw the line? Is a little bit of misogyny all right? A little bit's a bit sexy, isn't it? Is that what she's saying? But no, he's too much. And I thought, hang on a minute, I've spent fucking hundreds of thousands on whores. How can I be a misogynist? Boom. But you know, it was known. But what is known, talked about, alleged, and that is not enough to call someone a rapist. It's not. You know, the amount of blokes who are in prison, and you know, you can watch them on YouTube videos where there's that in a 1 hour video, they tell the story of like 30 blokes who've done 10, 15, 20 years in prison for rape, and DNA evidence has come out later. No, wasn't him, couldn't have been there, wasn't there, wrong, lies. You know, it's just not enough. It isn't enough. And I'm seeing all this other stuff coming out, and what I'm seeing a lot of is people saying, well, what's going to happen now is more women are going to come forward. And, you know, when more women come forward, well, of course, more women are going to come forward because there's very lonely, desperate people out there. And some psychotic, hysteric woman who's going to think, well, here's my moment in the spotlight. And she'll be on telly next week going, yeah, he raped me. Russel Brand raped me. I didn't want to go to the police because he was so famous. And, you know, have 30 women do that. YouTube will probably eat his channel. Rumble might start changing their mind if it's just endless. And then Russel Brand, who I think isn't a very nice person, and there are some things he's done that I know for a fact he's done that don't involve this, but he's not a very nice person because of those. But that doesn't make him a rapist. It's not fair. It's not fair to ruin someone's life based on what people say on Channel 4 or on social media or because it's known. You know, we know about it. One of the other things they've done, and this really got to me, like, listen, I don't like him. I don't believe him. I don't believe his spiel on YouTube. I think he goes where the wind blows because it helps him maintain his narcissistic position of power. He doesn't speak truth to power. He thinks he is power, and that's his truth. I'm not defending him, but I am defending someone's right to legal due process. Even with what I know, what I've been told, and you know, again, the NDAs, I haven't seen any proof of that. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. But I'm not gonna call him. I'm not gonna say he did that because a few people have told me it's not fair. I've had it. I've had that done to me. On that dispatches, there was that bit where they said that girl and he put his. If you're a youngster, you shouldn't be watching this video anyway. But they said he put his penis down my neck and, you know, he choked me and my eyes were watering. And then he cut to him doing stand-up. And he said something like, and I can't remember exactly, I'm paraphrasing. He said something like, oh, you know, the blowjob's where the mascara runs. And then he goes, nice. And they dropped that in after she said that. What? Why? What? That's evidence, is it? You know, a lot of people here will know that I had a load of real, you know, absolute niches from the dissident right come out and attack me saying I fucked a dog. Because in an interview once where I was performing, because it was an interview for a comedy blog, I told a story about when I fucked a dog, which I didn't. It was a story. You know, some of the stories I've told in my stand-up, some of them are true. Some of them, you know, most of my stories were true, but a lot of them weren't. A lot of them were exaggerated. That's what comedians, especially storytellers, this happened. But if I up the volume, if I turn the volume up from 5 to 25, I've got a show out of it. I can tell that story. But when you have people, you know, I remember Laura Towler. I used to get on with Laura. I don't think she likes me anymore because I'd done that. I said this isn't a nationalist channel because I was protecting the channel. But because Mark and Laura, they're like the leaders of Patriotic Alternative. And I like Mark a lot. And, you know, I consider him a friend. We don't agree on a lot of stuff, but we agree on some stuff. And he's always been very kind to me. And he defended me when a lot of people on the right were calling me all sorts of names. And I remember Laura Towler once said, after they put out I don't know what you'd call it, like what would you call it? Well, they put out a statement where they said something about me. And she said to me before, she said, I just want to confirm, though, you didn't have sex with a dog, did you? And it's just absurd. As a comedian, it's absurd that someone that you get on with or did then has to ask you that, because it's like, no, it was a joke. I was making people laugh. And so for them to cut performance into reality and blur the lines between performance and reality, it makes me think they haven't got anything, because that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There was another one where on this channel with the Scrubs, I think I've got one more super chat. Oh no, I've covered them all. Hang on. If you'd like to donate, that would be great. Oh, 42 dropped one in. There is a guy that did 17 years for rape. Not his DNA, got cleared. Oh, not his DNA, got cleared. And they are taking the cost of his room and board out of his compensation. Yeah, I heard that. That's a true story, people. Some geezer done nearly 20 years and got cleared. So he managed to get compensated, but it was next to nothing when it 42. It was something like 70,000. But they're charging him for his food and shelter while he was in prison. I mean, are you taking the piss? Unbelievable. Absolute madness. So what's the denouement from all of this? What do I think is going to happen? I honestly thought this would all blow over. And, you know, this might show me that I don't know how things work as much as I like to think they do. I thought this would just blow over and they'd be back to making YouTube content and that's it. And based on what I know, based on the people who've told me things, I think had they have done something about this when he was on their side politically, they would have probably led, I can't say for sure because I don't know for sure, had a case that would have gone to court perhaps. But because they waited until he was an enemy of the left, it's like piss in the wind. I mean, give me a 1 in the chat if you've, as a younger person, you had some kind of sexual encounter that afterwards, whether it was through alcohol, sulfate, any sexual desire, that afterwards you thought, oh, I didn't really plan that. I'm not saying that's what he's being accused of, but at the same time, they didn't really offer much more than that, did they? I want to know what you lot think. I want to know what you think. I'm going to start looking at some of the newer. Yeah, look, I'm looking at the comments now. Look at them. Oh, nice one, Matt. Thanks. Does this mean getting to the Greek tour has been shelved? Look, I'll give you. I couldn't really say a lot here. It's too dangerous. Do I think he's done some very bad things based on the evidence, based on the hearsay that I've heard? Yes. Do I think he's a very bad person based on the evidence I've got? No, because I've got no evidence. That's pretty much it. But 5 years ago, I suggested there would be a new Saville of our times, and you all knew who it was. And I wouldn't have been able to say that if I didn't have some kind of, if things hadn't been said. But I've also been lied about in the press. I've also had things I've said in a performance situation used against me to smear my character. I don't think trial by social media is whatever I think of him, and even let's assume he's raped 10 people, right? That isn't processed on social media. You don't demonetize someone here. You don't have the government. They'll dispatch you said he wasn't a nice man, because that is a really dangerous road to go down. And I'm not going to let what I think about Brand get in the way of what I think about society, truth, innocence, due process. No. And that's the mistake I think a lot of people are making on both sides. Because all of this stuff that I've seen and watched and heard, it hasn't changed my mind at all, because I don't want to let it. You know, I know a load of stuff, but I have to think to myself, well, hang on, there's been gossip about you. There's been rumours about you. Things in your performance has been used against you. I done a show on this channel once where I said to all my regulars, right, listen, send in photos of yourself when you were younger. And, you know, with your silly mullets and your Sergio Tacchini tracksuits, we'll have a laugh. And someone said, can we send pictures of us when we were toddlers? And I said, well, you can send pictures of you when you were toddlers if you want, but it's meant to be more of a fun stream. And some fucking neckbeard no friends made a video where he clipped just that bit. So he knows he's lying to his own subscribers. And it had me saying, send photos of you as toddlers if you want. And like all the comments were like, oh, he needs to be locked up. Oh, he's a danger to society. And I was just like, wow. And it's not nice. It's not nice. So I think trial by social media, and look, it's already happened. It's already happened. The government are involved. And this affects all of us. This affects all of us here, because we use the internet. We're people in an online culture. Most of our lives are online now. We don't meet. We don't have as much in real life connection as a culture that we used to. And if that arena can slay you, can get the government involved on some hearsay, that is a very, very dangerous road to go down. And I'm not going to let what I think about the individual get in the way of what I know about justice. And it isn't that. It's a terrifying way to go. JC has just dropped 60 big ones into Entropy. I finally caught a live one. Hope all is well. And then he's put the ticker for Palantir. JC, I'll tell you what, that's a treat. I'm absolutely skint and I'm watching the video just go like oh, Lord. I'll tell you what, I'll split that and I'll put 30 on the video. Thank you, JC. Very, very kind of you. Palantir. I mentioned it at the beginning of this. Oh, did I? I think I did. Yeah. So there you go, people. Probably a bit underwhelming. There's plenty of stuff I could tell you, but I can't risk it. And I don't. And it's actually made me question myself, because I knew that people were going to want me to do this stream. And I thought, fuck it. Yeah, I'll just tell them everything I know. And it's been 5 days. I've thought of very little. I haven't appealed a Dragon's Den video that got copyright striked, because if I appeal it and it fails, I'll be off the internet for a week. And I thought I'll do the Brand thing Thursday, and by Tuesday I was like, fuck it, I can say what I want. If he wants to come and get me and have what I know out there, he can do it. Fuck it. And then I thought about it and thought, hang on, what does that actually mean? What I know. I mean, it's a bit epistemological, but Do I know that? I know some pretty rough things, you know, but do I know this definitely happened? Have I got any evidence? Could I stand up in court and say, yeah, Your Honour? And they go, well, and what evidence have you got for this? I go, well, loads of people told me that. You know, and just not liking a bloke. If it was someone I liked, would I have the same approach to it? Because you've got to take that out of the situation. You've got to take the person, the human, out of it. You know, you can't think of that. Like imagine. I know people who defend Bill Gates. What Bill Gates is getting up to. Because they're computer geeks, and they just won't have a bad word said about him. And that's what you've not got to do. You know, if ever I was to support what's happening to Russel Brand, it's prosecutor, judge, and jury by social media. Are we really that fucked? And it's almost like the government, Parliament are playing second fiddle to that. Parliament is playing second fiddle to social media. Because I doubt Parliament would have done anything if it was just dispatches. They'd have been like, nyeh, nyeh. But because of the social media uproar, they're like, well, hang on a minute. These are voters. And it seems to be a lot of them. You know, they probably sent someone out and said, go do the numbers, find out what the, you know, what way the wind's blowing regarding this. And then they've got involved. Why are they involved? The government don't even get involved when you're taken to court as the judiciary, not a Parliament. That's frightening. That's a really frightening thing. I would have loved to have come on here, and I thought I was going to, and told you about this, told you what so-and-so said, told you what so-and-so said. And it's the horse's mouth. These are people who said he done this to them. He said this about me in his book, and it's a lie. This happened. He put this woman, this happened. I thought I was just going to come on here. And I tell you what, I'm glad I'd done something that I think age has given me. And I gave myself some time to think about it. And this isn't through a lack of bottle. It's through a belief in justice. Because when I actually considered it, it's just hearsay. And that doesn't make him innocent, but it certainly doesn't make him guilty. I don't like the bloke. That's it. That really is it. Nice one, Skin and Tonic. Much appreciated. We are going here. Don't start yet and ruin the story. Burning. So there you go, people. I certainly hope. I know you didn't get what you wanted, but if you take anything away from this? Just look at what's happening. Look at the fact that an independent. I think they might get a bit of government funding. Channel 4, actually. Someone let me know in the chat. Someone can say a few things about you. You know, this is why I never said it 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I didn't come on here and go, oh, guess what I've heard about Russel Brand? I didn't. Because it's not enough. If someone came on and were like, oh, guess what I've heard about Chris Dangerfield? You know, I'd be like, well, word ain't enough. I don't want to support a society that supports that way of processing crimes. I'm not defending the bloke. I don't give a shit about him. I think he's dull as fuck. I loved him in Big Brother's Little Brother, but I was about 25, you know. But I'm not. It doesn't really. He doesn't really interest me. But the fact that the government are involved, the fact that he's been demonetized, and there's been what's he done again? Had sex with some people, because that's all that they said. That's all they said. Now, again, I'll say this one thing again. Will other people come forward? Of course they will. Newspapers will incentivize that all day long, and they will tell them what to say so that they, let's make up a new paper. We'll call it the NUS. They will have their legal team there, and they'll say this, say this, say this, say this. Don't mention any dates, times, places, and names. We'll give you $5,000, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got another person saying, I went to a show. It was when he was live in Sheffield. After the show, I went round there, and I remember waking up with my nose bleeding, And then we have to admit, we now live in a society where if enough people don't like you, you're fucked. And that is not law and order. that is not. And there's a reason those two words are used together, law and order. Because when you lose grip of law, you lose grip of order. And the big problem with that is panopticon style censorship. Not only are people going to stop doing things, I mean, young men at the moment are terrified of having sex. I mean, it's not like we're having any problems with the European birth rates anyway, but, they're terrified because women can just change their mind about consent afterwards. And they see this sort of thing and they're probably thinking, fucking hell, I'll tell you what, the industry at the moment to be into is prostitution and OnlyFans, because that's where all the boys are going. All the teenage boys are terrified of getting called out for sexual assault or whatever. And this sort of thing just and again, I'm not saying he's innocent of all of these things or guilty, but it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that nothing's been proved in a court of law and they're coming at him from all angles. The government are involved. It's ridiculous. I want to thank you for coming along. I hope you got something out of it. I want to thank everyone who donated. Nice one, Arklow. The guilt or lack thereof is irrelevant. It is a flex on wrong thinkers, even the milquetoast ones like Brand. The denunciation is the key. Well, yeah, it's interesting that all this stuff was known 5-10 years ago. It's strange to wait till now. But then there's the other side of that people have been saying to me. It's like, well, it's strange that he's gone to the right when he knew that, newspapers were contacting people saying we're doing this investigation. That started about 3 years ago. I know people who were written to. They said to me, I've been contacted by this newspaper, that newspaper. They want me to do an interview about Russell. So there's the flip side of that, Arklow. But again, I do certainly agree with your first comment. Unless it goes to a court, you can't start ruining people's lives. And they are, because he may be guilty of far, far, far worse than we heard on dispatches. Let's assume, let's joke. No, neither of those words. Let's pretend that he's killed more people than the Moors murderers and I can't even think of his name, that weird farmer bloke. Fred West. Together. We don't know about it. That isn't what is the issue here. What's the issue is it doesn't seem to matter anymore. You can have done nothing. He might have done nothing. And it only takes a couple of hours TV show showing clips from you performing. I mean, maybe if they showed a clip of someone in Hamlet sort of stab it, or Macbeth, some bloke, someone writes to Channel 4 and said, this bloke tried to kill me, he kept stabbing me. And then they show him on stage with Macbeth, in Macbeth, like stabbing someone. Look, here he is on stabbing someone. It's like, what? And then Parliament say, yeah, well, that's 3 people said he stabbed him, and there he is stabbing. He's a stabber. He's a stabber, that one. No, it's all that's the takeaway from this trial by social media. We've gone back to a medieval situation of justice, which is no justice. John Falstaff dropped 5 spot towards costs when he sues you for this video. Thank you. Triple VARTs all around. I can do you a few manuals. I hope you heard them. I think I've been fair in what I've said. Right, listen. Thank you for coming along. We had some really good numbers tonight, and I kind of know you didn't get what. Well, I don't actually. I hope some of you got something out of what I said. I couldn't come on here and just tell you what I'd been told, because that's ridiculous. It's not fair. Not on Russell. It's not fair on society. It's not fair on civilization. I've had it done about me. It's really unpleasant, and it's increasingly powerful. And I don't want to support a society or a culture that supports that, because it's happening in front of our eyes. Thanks to my moderators, thanks to everyone who donated, most of all, thanks to everyone who came here and to watch this. Maybe check out some of my other videos. I try and stream a lot. I am working a lot at the moment, so it hasn't been so much. Check out some of the popular lives. They're good videos. Look after yourselves, people. We're going to play a bit of music. I will be putting your comments on the screen while the music's playing. So if you've got anything important to say or relevant to the situation, I'll select those comments, because I do want to know what you think, not just based on what I said, but on the whole furore. And look after yourselves and the people you love. Take care, people. You might recognize the tune. Well, not if it's that slow, you won't.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a toy. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near.
Wow.
You're in man love. All the world
Cheers, Packer.
loves the lovers. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man love.
I just want to use this vibration music on my iris device. This light. I'm thinking about it. What did I do?
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of
Yeah,
loving
you dummy.
is to live
Ryan knows everything.
in the world of man love.
Isn't it funny, eh? The funny old noobs turn up. You idiots don't even know what you're eating. You know, they're always about 11 years old, these people, and they think they're the first people to watch a documentary on nutrition. Anyway, video. I've got a Dragon's Den. I've got to appeal. I might get a strike if the appeal doesn't work. So I might disappear for a week. Gutted. But I've also got a video coming up about the YouTube Shorts, and it won't be what you're thinking. It's quite the expose about Shorts. Look after yourselves, people, and look after those you love, because at the end of the day and the beginning, they're the most important in your life. Hoit. Oh, hang on, I've got a scratch. Just got a little itch there. Just there. Hoita!